Pokkén Tournament is a fighting game that takes several inspirations from other games in the genre and molds them all to fit well into the Pokemon universe. Being the first game of its kind for the Pokemon franchise, let alone being the first big Pokemon title on the Wii U, many of us were left curious as to how this game would turn out. Now that the game is officially out, that question is brought to the forefront. Does Pokkén Tournament pack a punch, or does it get disqualified? Fighting is Pokkén Tournament's bread and butter, and as such offers a variety of ways for you to lay the smackdown on your opponents. Once you boot up the game, you're presented with a few different options, or hubs as they're called. The first are the single battle and local battle hubs. Single battle is for players looking to battle it out against the CPU, while local battle pits one player against another with one playing on the gamepad and the other on their TV using one of the several different controller options. I will say though, that playing through local battle knocks the game down from a smooth 60 frames per second down to 30. With LAN also being an option, it's not the optimal way to play multiplayer, but it's great that it's there nonetheless for those without the luxury of owning two Wii U systems. These hubs are great for players to either enjoy a single player experience or play against their friends on the same couch. But there's more ways to play than locally. In addition to local multiplayer, Pokkén Tournament also allows for players to put their skills to the test with other players online through the online match hub. Players can choose between rank and friendly matches when searching for others online, with leaderboards also being supported as well. For a fighting game, I'm always a little hesitant going in as the experience can easily be made sour by things like lag, input delay, etc. Because of this, I was very happily surprised when I found that in 9 out of the 10 matches I played, there was little to no lag at all, which is really great for those, like myself, who like to take their skills online and battle it out with players worldwide. Next up is the Practice Hub, which as you may have guessed, gives players a more relaxed environment to hone their skills, as well as learn new techniques through the game's tutorials. The tutorials do a decent enough job to show newer players the ropes and get them into the action as quickly as possible. There's also a hub called My Town that allows the player to adjust things like their fighter profile and support sets. You can also edit the appearance of your avatar here, changing things like hairstyle, clothes, even backgrounds. There's a lot of options for customization here, which is great for people like me who enjoy pouring loads of time into making their character look just right. Lastly, there is the Ferrum League hub, which is where most of the game's single-player content lies. Taking on the Ferrum League mostly revolves around winning battles starting from the beginner level Red League all the way up to the Iron League. The basic premise is to win as many battles as you can in a league until you make it into the top 8, after which you play in a classic tournament-style setup, which, if the player finishes first, will then go on to face the league champion in a promotion match. If the player wins the promotion match, they then proceed on to the next league. The game's story progresses after these matches as well, and I use the term story pretty loosely. There's not much to the story other than there's a mysterious Pokemon interfering with trainers' ability to link with their Pokemon in battles, and you need to find it and stop that Pokemon by whatever means necessary. It plays out very predictably and sadly becomes a largely forgettable experience. The thing that I think hurts the game's story the most is the fact that it is tied to the Ferrum League mode, making the battles fought along the way carry a lot less meaning than if they were part of a story all their own. It's a shame because I feel like the story and setting had some real potential going in. This isn't too big of a hindrance to the game though, as the main attraction here are the fights themselves. Almost directly comparable to the Smash Bros. Franchise, the game does a marvelous job at appealing to both casual and competitive players alike by offering mechanics with a great amount of depth for the competitive scene, all while remaining just as accessible to those that just want to pick up and play for fun. This is achieved largely in part to the game's system for attacks and counters, simply titled the Attack Triangle. The Attack Triangle is similar in concept to Rock Paper Scissors, in that each move type has a weakness. Grabs beat counters, counters beat normal attacks, and normal attacks beat grabs. It's a simple to understand system that offers huge benefits in battles to players that manage to master it. The Attack Triangle also encourages players to switch up their playstyle based on the actions of their opponent. Are they spamming normal attacks? Go for a counter. Are they playing more defensively by guarding? Try landing a grab. After all is said and done, Pokkén Tournament is still a Pokemon game taking place in the Pokemon universe. That being said, everything from the game's fighter roster, support Pokemon, even the stages do a fantastic job at capturing the essence of Pokemon. It's nice to see the game's developer, Bandai Namco, really take the time to make sure that every aspect of the game feels like it belongs in the Pokemon universe. One of my favorite examples of this comes from the training gym stage, in which you can actually see some funny things in the background, like this Whirlipede getting some work in on the treadmill, or even this Poliwrath spotting one of the gym's members through some stretching. These are things that will probably go unnoticed by most people, but for big fans of Pokemon like myself, it really means a lot. In terms of what the game is lacking, I would say more modes like Tag Team would have been nice, as well as an option for online lobby matches, and perhaps maybe a larger roster of Pokemon represented. It's strange that out of the 721 Pokemon species released so far, that only 46 are seen here, with 16 playable fighters and 30 support Pokemon. That's not to say that what we do have isn't great in its own right, as what is included in Pokkén is done beautifully. Pokkén Tournament's roster feels diverse, with each fighter feeling hugely different from one another. The game's stages are also all crafted in a way that makes each environment feel like it belongs in the Pokemon universe, with an amazing amount of fan service added in. And the system for fighting reaches a happy medium between casual and competitive that almost anyone can pick up a controller and start playing. Even if it does have its shortcomings, I would definitely recommend Pokkén. It's a great entry-level fighter with lots of content and depth to keep you hooked for a long time. If you're looking to be the very best like no one ever was, definitely consider checking out Pokkén Tournament.
Great battle!
Example, the game can be played using the Wii U gamepad, which allows for a bigger minimap, as well as equipping items on the fly without having to sift through menus. The Wii U can even challenge other players online in Castle Battles. Castle Battles is a feature I never got to try simply because every time I launched trying to find a match, nobody was online. This could be because